AP Computer Science Principles. This is the programming review for Units 4 and 5, and this is Lesson 3, Iteration. Iteration in programming means repeating steps or instructions over and over again. This is often called a loop. Iteration for a set number of times. The code in the block of statements is executed n times. So in AP Computer Science Principles pseudocode, you'll see repeat n times. In Python, as in JavaScript, you have a for loop. For those of you JavaScript doing code.org, please go and take a look at the code that we've done in class. When you look at it in the pseudocode, instead of seeing a for loop, you'll see repeat n times, and then some block of statements. You might also see repeat until some condition. A repeat n times says it's going to run at least once before it checks the condition. Over here, the for x in range. Remember that white space matters, so every statement included in the loop must start with an indent. That's for Python, okay? For, oops, let me do, here we'll do this. For JavaScript, you have your open and your closing curly braces as how you know that you've got to begin and end. And again, for this, you're going to have, let me put this in here, boop, boop, boop. If I can do this and make this print just a little bit smaller so it's not quite so crazy, you would have for, and then you would have I equals 0, okay? And then you're going to have I less than 10, and then you would have I plus plus, okay? And this is typically all inside of a parenthesis, okay? And then you're going to have your open curly brace and come down here and you'll have your closed curly brace. And in between these curly braces will be the block of code that you're doing. So a for loop in Java or JavaScript has an initialization, has a condition, and has an increment. It initializes once, runs the loop, or it initializes once, checks the condition, runs the loop, comes back through the increment or decrement, because you could also be going down, and then rechecks the condition. And so it goes through this part of the loop. Again, you use a for loop or a repeat n times for those items that you know exactly how many times, before starting the loop, you know exactly how many times you want to run it. Oftentimes this is, I want to do something for every item in a list or every character in a string. Here are a couple of examples. X is set to 3. Y is set to 4. Result is set to 0. Repeat 5 times. Result is going to get result plus X plus Y. So now, how would you go about doing this? Well, you've got X and you've got Y, and I'm just going to use an R for result. And it starts out with 3, 4, and 0. Repeat 5 times. So I'll put a little T over here for times. So the first time, through, result gets result plus X plus Y. So that's 0 plus 4 plus 3. So result becomes 7. Now it's gone through once. Now I'm going to go through a second time. And the second time will be 7 plus 4 plus 3. And it will store 14. And you should notice that by the time you get down to 5, you should have 35. You're essentially adding 7 each time or multiplying by 7. So there's 35. Over here, similar kind of deal. We have X, and we have Y, and we have our result. X is 2, Y is 4, result is 0. For num in range 5, result is set to Y plus result divided by X. Y plus, so 4 plus 0 is 4, divided by 2 is 2. So result gets to be 2. And then you're going to go back. This is no longer indented since this is Python. It's no longer indented. I come back up here for my second number. Okay. Well, in num, we have our num in range 5. So I would come back up. I do it again and again. And notice that each time I'm going to multiply, I'm going to do y plus the result. So 4 plus 2 is 6 divided by 2 becomes 3. So I'm counting up by ones, and I'm going to do that 5 times, except that you're actually going to get to a point where the 3, you're going to have, excuse me, not an even number. So you're going to wind up with a decimal. Okay? And again, this is Python. If you saw it in JavaScript, it would be maybe a little bit easier for you because you'd have num is set to 0 up to 5. You will either see things in my class in JavaScript or in pseudocode. Give these two a quick, I'm going to select all, move these up, there we go. Okay. Give both of these a quick try to see oops, boop, 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 how it goes and if you get the right answer. So pause the video. Okay, you're back. Over here, 2.5, 0, repeat 3 times. B gets B plus A times 2. So 2.5 times 2 is 5, plus 0 is 5, and then you would display 5. And you do that 5 times. So then you come back up, and that's going to be 5 plus another 5 is 10. And then you'll get 15 because you're doing it 3 times. So this basically is counting by 5s. Over here, P, F, sum. For num in range 4, so you're going to do this 4 times. Sum is set to num plus P plus F, print sum. So num is 1 plus P is 300 plus F is 15 more, so you get 316. So you printed that. You loop around. Okay. Num is now 2. Right? And you're going to go again. And here is what gets printed. And notice it gets all printed because you're not putting any spaces in it. So you get the 316, the 631, the 946, and the 1261. Okay? Actually, I don't think this is actually working out just right. Ignore this one. This one definitely take a look at. This one works exactly. I'm going to say, don't look at this because num should start out as 0. 0 plus P plus F would give you 315 into sum. Then you print 315. Then num becomes 1, and so on. And you're not, I think that there was a thought here when the person who wrote this, maybe they were multiplying. I'm not sure, but we're going to keep going. So this one, yes. This one, I wouldn't give you one that looks like that. Let's look at iteration, repeat an unknown amount of times. This is repeat until. This is also while loops, okay, in Java. So while loops, the code in the block of statements is repeated until the Boolean expression condition evaluates to true. So repeat until this is true. So you're going to repeat until the condition, the block of statements. In Python and most programming languages, this loop is repeated while a condition is true, and it will end once the condition is false. So while condition. In JavaScript, you're going to have, whoops, doing this with a lovely mouse, while something, there's your beginning curly brace and ending curly brace, which is your block of statements. So same kind of idea as in Python. Now, result is, or x is 7, result is 1. Repeat until x is greater than 10. Well, x is 7. So I'm going to, that's 7 is not greater than 10. So I'm repeating until this happens. So result we'll get result times x. So 7 times 1 is 7. X gets incremented by 1, so x is 2. And then it will go around. So if you want, we can do x and result 7, 1. 7 is not greater than 10. So down here, result gets result times this. So result becomes 7 and x becomes 8. 8 is not greater than 10. Result is 8 times 7. So that's going to be 56. This guy becomes 9. Still not greater than 10. Result, I multiply these two together. Then I get 10. I'm just going to do 9 times 56. It's going to be 45, 49, 4, 9, 50. There we go. I think 54. If I did that really quick in my head. I go around. 10 is not greater than 10. It's going to go until it's 11. As soon as this hits 11, it's going to drop out. And you're going to wind up with 5,040. Over here, the result, x is 2, y is 4, result is 0. While x is less than or equal, x is, so result is set to x plus y plus result. So 2 plus 4 plus 0 is 6. So first time through it's 6, and this becomes 3. 3 is less than or equal to, and this is where I have to keep track of myself. So we've got our x, our y, and our result. 2, 4, and 0. First time through, 2 plus 4 is 6. This becomes 3. Notice y is never changing. 3 is less than or equal to 4, so yes. So the result is 3 plus 4 is 7, plus 6 is 13. X becomes 4. Is 4 less than or equal to 4? Yes. 4 plus 4 is 8, plus 13 is 21. This guy became 5. 5 is not less than, and so it drops out of the loop, and the answer is 21. Okay? Again, this is a way of stepping through and tracing your code. How about these two? Go ahead and try these and see how it goes. Okay, did you get 14, 15? And did you get 24, 19, 15, negative 4? Again, when you're tracing through, make an A column and a B column, and then you give it 8 and you give it 0. Repeat until A is less than B. This is, so I'm going to keep going. B gets B plus A, so that's 8. Divided by 2 is 4. And then A goes up by 2, so it becomes 10. Is A less than B? Nope. So B gets 10 plus 4 is 14 divided by 2 is 7. A gets 2 more. So this is 12. Still haven't flipped which one's bigger. So 12 plus 7 is 19 divided by 2. Okay. Yep, 19. Sorry. A, which is 12. And what am I doing? Oh, if somebody were here, they would just shoot me. Yep. I'm not doing order of operations. We had 8 and we had 0. We run through. This is 0 plus A divided by 2. 8 divided by 2 is 4. Plus 0 is 4. So the first time through, that worked out. And then this became 10. The next time through, I'm going to get 4 plus 10 divided by 2 is 5. So this becomes 9. And then this becomes 12. Go through again. This is going to be 12, or this is going to be 9 plus. 12 divided by 2 is 6, right? So now we've got 9 plus 6 is 15. And then I add 2 here, and I get 14. Now A is less than B, so it jumps out of the loop, and here are my values. Sorry, order of operations. So what happens when you're doing this at the end of the day? I was adding A and B together and then dividing by 2. This happens first, and then you add the B. Over here, you're going to do the same thing here. Notice, what are the values of the variables after the code is executed? And here's C is 30, 40, 50, 60. And you come through, and this is after the first run through, second run through, third run through. Here's your condition. C less than D or F greater than 0. It failed right here. F became -4. Okay? And again, this is just C is set to C minus 2. So I got to subtract 2 each time through. D is C minus 5. Boom, boom. E is F plus 3. And then F is E minus D. E minus D. Boom. Infinite loops. Ooh, it's a problem. These loops run until their condition becomes true, which raises an interesting question. What happens if the condition never becomes true? In these cases, the program enters what is called an infinite loop over the commands in it, and it never reaches the rest of your program. We normally avoid infinite loops in our programs since it would crash any program that is trying to run. Update condition. In order for the repeat until loop to stop, at some point the code inside the loop must change something about the state of the program, usually the value of a variable, so that eventually the Boolean expression becomes true. If nothing inside your loop changes anything about the expression that's being checked, you will wind up with an infinite loop, which is a problem. Now, are you ready to review procedures, also known as functions or methods in different languages? Great, because that's lesson 4, and that's what's up next.